Use code AFTV20 for 20% off your order with Fireaway Pizza. Just click the link in the description below or go to fireaway.co.uk now. AFTV, Julian, 4-1 to the Arsenal. Comprehensive victory again. We are blowing teams away week in, week out at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, it was easy. It was really easy. I mean, I wanted to predict an easy win, but after the experience that we had on Wednesday, I was slightly damaged by that, and I kind of wanted to rein it in a bit and said that I thought it was going to be a scrappy, maybe 1-0, 2-1 win. And in my heart, which I should have gone with, I knew we'd blow teams away. But I've actually come away from that game slightly conflicted, thinking that wasn't the greatest performance I've seen.
What, today?
Yeah. And that's not because it wasn't a great performance, but because of the expectation levels have been, up here. I mean, look what we did. We had a 6-0, we had a 5-0, and now we've got a 4-1. And then when they scored their one goal, it was like quite deflating. And it almost seems like we're on a downward trajectory because every game we're scoring one less goal, and something awful happened. The other team scored a goal. But it's a great win. A lot of the other teams around us, like, if you're a Liverpool fan, looking forward to your game tomorrow, you're thinking, Newcastle, tricky game for Arsenal. If you're a City fan, you're like, all right, we got the job done. They got Newcastle. Anything could happen in that. The way we blitzed them in that first half in particular, and it could have been more. I mean, that was very impressive by Arsenal. Everybody's got to start sitting up and watching Arsenal right now and fearing it, isn't it? Yeah, I mean, it could have been more, but this is where I've got a slight disappointment. It should have been more, because the difference that I've seen for the last two games was the efficiency of our forward play and how quickly we took the shot. And today, if I've got any criticism of Arsenal, it's a little bit of extra touches in the box. I think Havertz at one point had a chance to shoot, took 2 or 3 touches, and the chance was lost. There was another chance.
Yeah, the one-on-one.
He had the one-on-one, which was an awful. That was really awful. But then there was another situation with Ben White, who was literally clean through. And I know he's a full-back, and originally he was a centre half, but he's in a position, just take the shot. And I think the efficiency of our forward play today was the only disappointing factor. But
yeah, great win, and we're still in this title race. It's really hotting up now. There's only a couple of points in it, and if Arsenal can keep this, it's all about keeping this winning streak going. And you look at the next couple of games coming up, and they're definitely winnable. Sheffield United away, and then Brentford at home.
Yeah, it's all winnable, but you've got to look at the reasons why we're doing so well. And when I look at the team now, I can't remember a time when I've seen an Arsenal team that are so physically imposing and also versatile. When I think back at the Wenger years, you had this kind of midfield. It was almost like Snow White and the 7 tiny midfielders. Whereas now you look at the team we've got, they're big, they're strong, and they're versatile. You take Ben White, for instance. When I've looked at fullbacks, there's like 3 types of fullbacks. There's like the Tierney overlapping fullback. There's the Kivior kind of, he's a centre half just playing slightly to that side. And then there's the Zinchenko inverted fullback. Now what you've got in Ben White is he can do all 3 positions. And that's true of a lot of the players that we've got. They're physically imposing, but they're also versatile. They can play these different types of roles, which has meant that we've had some injuries, because Newcastle have got injuries. A lot of teams have got injuries, but the reason we've been able to cope a lot better is because of the versatility of our players. And there's one person to thank for that, which is Arteta, because he's put this team together. This is Arteta's squad, this is Arteta's team, and he's creating the success that we're having now.
Can we go all the way? Can we go all the way this season? It's still very, very tight up the top, but we're in there. We're not even, I wouldn't say hanging in there. We are seriously in there, just waiting. If anybody slips up, we're ready to pounce. And as they said, we've got games coming up with Man City, got to play Liverpool. There's lots of different scenarios. Can Arsenal this season do what they couldn't do last season and go all the way?
I think they're set up to play in a way that you've got this kind of longevity of performance, because he's put more of a framework in place. That last year it was more down to the enthusiasm. We all got carried away, and I remember this time, exactly this time last year, was the Bournemouth game, which was a terrible performance. But what got us through was this just sheer enthusiasm and will not to lose. Whereas now I think it's based more on sort of the professionalism and framework that we've got. So I think we're better set up. I'm not saying we're definitely going to do it, but we've got just as much chance as Liverpool and Man City.